e4, e5. So after knight f3, black goes knight c6 and play first bishop c4, because after the most common move knight f6, you can then play pawn d4. Black will probably capture somewhere. Two are kind of wrong and are somewhat losing immediately. Knight takes e4. For your recapture here, play tempting move bishop c5 to hit this pawn and to develop the bishop. Queen to d5. Of course, black can't capture this pawn after you move the king away. There is still this major threat of checkmating one, and the knight is still hanging. So black will probably have to address the checkmating threat, and after that you just win a free piece. This bishop is now hanging, and then you just develop, play simple moves and you win. If taking this pawn is wrong, what if black decides to, okay, let me capture this one? You have a very common sacrifice, bishop takes f7. And here after king takes, you then follow up with knight takes e5, check to the king. And as the king goes, usually they move it back to e8. You then regain your piece by playing queen takes d4. Black is kind of hopeless, You're just gonna simply develop knight c3, castle, bishop g5, all like simplest developing moves, and you're gonna win. And the right way is to capture here on d4 with their pawns. But I suggest that you simply castle, and there are two major options for black. I'm gonna take this pawn, so that's the first option, and the second option is play bishop c5 and defend this pawn. As for the move knight takes e4, white naturally plays rook e1. Black has nothing else to do but to defend it with the pawn. Bishop to d5. After queen takes d5, we've got a spectacular move knight coming here to c3. Therefore, let's say black goes queen a5. Now we capture the piece back on e4. Now, the main move of black is that they want to cover their king. What if they use the dark squared bishop? Then you go bishop g5. If black captures here on g5, that fails really badly due to knight d6. It's a discover check. It's also a double check. And we're also threatening the pawn. Black wants to keep defending both of them. It fails to rook to e8. Really nice checkmate. Let's focus on another main move, bishop c5. We do want to attack, so we play forward, pawn e5, hitting this knight. If the knight goes to the center, goes knight e4, you play queen e2, and all of a sudden it turns out that this knight is actually trapped. So knight e4 just loses the game. What if knight g4? You're not worried about that too much. You can once again move your rook to e1 and just take advantage of this pin. The move that I think works the best is the move pawn c3. Probably 9 out of 10 opponents will just capture this pawn. You've got a typical combo, bishop takes f7. And here it's like one of the most common tactical patterns here in the Scotch Gambit. You first sacrifice the bishop, and then you play queen to d5 as the king goes back, and you capture the bishop back. You simply develop however you like, knight c3, bishop g5, whatever, and black is kind of paralyzed because what can black do? The correct response for black after white pushes here e5 is not to defend but to counterattack with the move pawn d5. Here after pawn takes and black recaptures, we can see that black is willing to completely expose their king and to allow their king side to be destroyed. First of all, we capture this pawn. Black must move this rook away. So we first play rook e1 and we indeed hit the king. Black is gonna play bishop e6, and so you play bishop g5, bringing the bishop into play. The good news for you is that all these moves are pretty bad, besides bishop e7, so that's the correct move. And the top choice of black is queen to d5. It looks good at first, because you're gonna play knight to c3, because this hits the queen first of all. If black wants to capture your knight, then you simply capture the queen, and because of this pin, black can't move their bishop. So here after white just played bishop g5, hitting the queen, your main idea is to keep developing and to keep attacking. But assuming that black plays the queen somewhere, you want to move the knight here to d2, e4, and hopefully f6 to hit the king. To e4, it's going to also hit the bishop along the way. And if black goes queen d5, the most played move, we already know that you're going to crush black with knight c3. Black will play queen f5. And then you still land your knight to e4. Some of your pawns will clearly take this pawn over here on g7.